Good morning, folks. This is Tim Ealer. I hope you all doing well this morning. Today is the 8th of December, 2025. We have a quick hitting snow system moving through the east, the mid-Atlantic this morning. Excuse me. With it's uptrended quite a bit in the past 12 hours, 24 hours, with more snowfall expected out here. Get my pen going here. Here it is. All right. Generally in this area, right? You see snow already falling here into parts of Kentucky, West Virginia. Radar's not picking it up too great here, but um, anyway, you're gonna have a low pressure system form off the coast here. Not very strong, but strong enough to induce some easterly flow, upslope. We have upslope flow today on the Appalachians. So all along this area, we'll go over that. For the southeast into Georgia, light rain moving through today, likely to clear out, and thank goodness, because it's been nasty the past couple days around here. Clear out today. And then for the Midwest and Northern High Plains, snowfall expected to move through in the next 24 to 48 hours, with Pacific jet, right? And we have atmospheric river bringing rounds of heavy rain here out west, okay? And so really in the short term, it's the big event, right? And of course, they're used to this. I imagine y'all are more used to it than they are in Virginia, Mid-Atlantic, to the snow. So, but still, it's supposed to be an impactful event out here. So now, let's look at temperatures. Temperatures for the nation are in the single digits. Up here into the northern high plains, into the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Generally near freezing here. Exception of maybe Washington D.C. Even Washington D.C. looks like it's 33. So marginal temperatures for snow, but cold enough, right? Pretty cold for a good portion of the nation. 20s and 30s, even the 40s, 30s down along the Gulf Coast. West Coast, a little bit warmer here in California and on the Oregon coast, 40s and 50s. The only warmest temps are down here in Florida, southern Florida, near 80 degrees. Even this morning, pretty warm for this morning. So as far as temps go for the southeast, and particularly my friends here in Georgia, looks like a strong high Arctic high pressure will push in towards the weekend, but the extent of the cold air, how far south it will get, is uncertain. So one thing we know is that the cold air will push in, but the degree of how far south it pushes is always problematic down here in the southeast, right? But definitely gonna be colder than gonna be cold, below freezing at night. So when we look at the temperatures here for Robins Air Force Base, generally in the 50s and 60s through the week, and then you get into Saturday, high of 48, low of 29. It's been pretty consistent the past couple days, but so we'll have to keep an eye on the trends here. Well, I didn't want that. Precip for the next 3 days. Not expecting a lot of precip. Generally a trace at the most. So overall, this rain moves through today, then that'll be it till maybe towards this weekend. All right. Now I'm going to move back here to a different model. North America, right? And then Georgia. And then Robbins Air Force Base. And we can look at 10-day temperature and precip from the Euro. You can see the Euro high-res model has a different take on the temperatures. It's crazy. Now if we compare this to the GFS and look at Robbins Air Force Base again. Yeah, so again, the models are favoring a cool down, but not as extreme as one would think. And then it warms up quite quickly here. So, and I'm going to do a little comparison here. I'm going to look at the European ensemble. All right, so European ensemble, right? Ensemble mean is the green line here. So 60-43 for a high on Saturday. There's some colder temps, but you see the range here. Pretty wide range of temps as you get further out. So really high uncertainty here. If you compare it to the GFS ensemble, I'm trying to find the right parameter here. So 31 members. This is precipitation, so my bad. So see how the GFS mean is in the 50s here. So quite a bit of uncertainty this far out. All right, so the temperatures are pretty consistent, but then you get towards the end of the period, very uncertain about how cold it's going to get. So we'll have to go over that again as we get closer. For our current hazards, wow, that atmospheric river, the Pacific Jet, is really ramping up here up north. And we'll show that in a minute here. But these are the hazards: high wind watch, high wind warning, wind advisories. You got winter storm watch. You got winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings. Out west here, flood watch, flood warnings. Even along the California coast, you have high wind watch and some dense fog. And the event in the Virginia area, West Virginia, parts of North Carolina, you have winter storm warnings surrounded by winter weather advisory. So definitely an impactful event here on both coasts and the northern tier of the U.S. As far as the snow in the mid-Atlantic today, This is some graphics from the local National Weather Service offices, and this one's in Blacksburg, Virginia. See the highest amounts are in the mountainous terrain here. It looks like 3-4 inches of snow here, right? Local higher amounts along the ridges, and the high probability of the snow will stick to roadways. So periods of heavy snow today. So that if you're gonna be driving this area, stay weather aware. Okay. Confidence is high on everybody receiving snow today. So you have the winter storm warning here with the weather advisories elsewhere. This is issued yesterday, but last night about 11 p.m. So snow will fall between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And some of the areas will see the snow end by early afternoon. Further east, Monday morning commute will be impacted, possibly 3 to 4 inches near South Hill. And the confidence is high that snow will continue through Monday afternoon. And the heavier band could shift further north, at least according to the National Weather Service office. This is issued yesterday. This was issued yesterday as well, where you have your winter weather advisors along the coast, winter storm watch to the west here, and the impacts as well. So, impactful event this morning. If you're going to have to travel, be careful out there. So the flooding potential is pretty high here. Here's a graphic from the National Weather Service Portland office, issued on the 6th. So this was 2 days ago, but the message remains the same here. So flooding is possible all along the Oregon and Washington State coastline, right? And you also have wind advisories. So especially trampolines, you might want to lash them down. Patio furniture, trash cans with the strong onshore winds ongoing today and through the week. So as far as excessive rainfall, what are we expecting? Well, for today, you see the highest risk along the Oregon, Washington coast. We talked about that in the parts of Idaho, Montana, and Oregon. And see where the most precip is expected here. Potentially up to 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in the higher terrain in parts of Oregon, Washington State. All right. So switching back to excessive rainfall for day 2. It's just a little further south here, but you have that ongoing atmospheric river here, and just the axis of it switch a little further south here, right? Still, through day 2 for day 2, expecting another 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. Now excessive rainfall for day 3. Same thing here. It's crazy. Precip moves back to the north. The highest precip motion in Washington State and back into northern Idaho, Billings, Montana, right? So we get to excessive rainfall for day 4. Starts to ease up some along the Oregon coast. And then day 5, which is today, Friday, eases up some. As far as severe weather, none expected today, except for some thunderstorms maybe in South Florida. Day 2, day 3, no severe weather expected, right? So next we're going to go over the atmospheric river, a little closer look on the snowfall totals for the mid-Atlantic, as well as potential for the cold air and where it'll be impacting the most this weekend. So what's driving this atmospheric river along the west coast here? Let's stop this real quick. See the 500 millibar flow. We zoom out here a little bit. It's as far as it goes, but you can see a connection to the subtropics, right, with that moisture through the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. See, Thursday you have this low pressure, the trough digging in the east, which will be driving cold air to the south. How far this digs and how long it stays there is looks to be a little bit in question, all right? And it looks to be on more of a northwest flow here, very progressive, moving through, right? The atmospheric river eases up out west here, right? And that jet stream dips to the south again with high pressure building out west here again, right? And you see the atmosphere responds to the east here with another trough. So one thing we know, at least, a trough over the east is going to remain consistent, right? And that's the way it's been most of this winter. Although the ridge looks to break down some towards the end of the period here. So what's that look like from a 925 millibar temp perspective? This gives us a good proxy for temperatures at the surface. Okay. Coldest air up into Canada. You see it pooling there to the north. Here, it's more in the central U.S., right? Pushing the south here. Now, if we look at temperatures, and I'm using the GFS because this is the most recent run, okay? Saturday night, temperatures forecast to be in the negative 20s, possibly negative 30s here. So, looks to me like, at least with this model run, the cold air isn't pushing as far south. But the cold air remains entrenched over the east. Although later in the period it looks to warm up a little bit, you still have the cold air hanging out in the east here. So shorter term, as far as the radar goes, let's go back to 6Z for the HRR for the continental US. Simulated radar. Take out the thickness values here. All right, so the quick hitting system moving through here, you see how much it really ramps up these snow totals, right? Pretty intense bands here into parts of, Virginia. Approaching Washington, D.C. Doesn't look like it's going to make it there, though. Quickly moves out to sea. Although you have some bands potentially setting up right along the coast. And if it gets cold enough, we could have some quick hitting heavy snow here. And you have another system moving in the upper Midwest that will bring some snow up here. You can see the enhanced winds with the isobars closely packed, plus the incessant rainfall, right? Rain just keeps pushing on over, right? And you have this other system really getting going up in the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. So there's a system that's going to help start to drive cold air further south. Now, switching to the NAM here. Here's the NAM's depiction of it. Showing a potential icing event here with overrunning moisture, right? But the nature of this system being a western rider, right, lends some more rain in the metro areas here. Although potentially starting off as snow and freezing precip, right? Looks like a dry slot moving in here and along the west coast through Wednesday. We talked about that. European model going further out here. This is loading, but hello. Uh, not good here. Why isn't this loading? This is sites in beta, so I guess I shouldn't expect it to do what I ask it to. Well, here's the GFS anyway. At 60 hours. That's high resolution, right? We get the general idea here. That system moves out to sea, up to the north. Doesn't really go offshore, interestingly enough. The precip on the west coast really stops. And this thing just threw an error on me. How nice. So I finally got the Euro to load here. It shows the atmospheric river and the system along the northeast with the cold air pushing in, right? And you see the Clipper system moving through the east here, potentially bringing a little light snow to the area in mid-Atlantic. Northern stream systems moving through the flow, and that's where the model run ends for the 0Z. Okay, so this is still loading. So switching the temperatures real quick. The European model generally pretty cold to the northeast, like we showed with the GFS, and this is December 14th. This, remember I showed you the European was thinking it's not depicting cold air pushing as far south, and the GFS is known to have a bias for cold air, so we'll just have to see what happens there. As far as date, 8 to 14 U.S. hazards, valid 15 through 21 December 2025. Much below normal temperatures here. Possible in a Ohio Valley, and flooding possible the 15th through the 21st, which is next week. Atmospheric river getting going again, and much below normal temperatures in parts of Alaska, and high winds as well. 15th through the 21st. Precip, slight risk of heavy precip along the west coast again, the 15th to the 19th. Snow, high snow amounts expected on the west coast here with that atmospheric river, the 15th through the 19th. Risk of high winds, still here again, and into Alaska. Pretty far south here, like so that's all associated with another possible atmospheric river event. Temperatures, they're still projecting a moderate risk for below normal temps here on the 15th. Hazardous temperatures, excuse me, and moderate risk and slight risk in parts of Alaska as well. So that's all I got today, guys. Stay safe out there, especially on the northwest coast and the mid-Atlantic today. And we'll keep an eye on the temperatures for the east, at least the southern part of the U.S. I think it's more certain about the cold air up to the north, but how far south it makes it is a little bit more uncertain down here. All right, so hope you all have a great day.